All right, let's talk about something we all use every single day, but probably don't think twice about. I'm talking about your web browser. It is, quite literally, your gateway to the internet, to your work, your friends, your entertainment, everything.
But let me ask you this. You click that little icon on your screen maybe dozens of times a day without a second thought. But do you know the story behind it? I mean the epic wars that were fought, the giants that fell, and the incredible tech that powers your every single click?
Because that's the real question here, isn't it? It's your window to the world, sure, but in an age where we've got a few really good options, does your choice of browser actually matter? Well, we're going to break down the big three today: Edge, Chrome, and Firefox to figure that out.
So to really get what's happening now, you gotta know where we've been. The whole story really kicks off in the early 90s with pioneers like Mosaic. That quickly led to the first massive browser war, which saw Internet Explorer rise to absolutely dominate the world. But as we all know, that dominance fizzled out, paving the way for the super competitive era we're in today. And that's where our first story begins, with that fallen giant.
First up, Microsoft Edge. And trust me, this is not just a story about a piece of software. It's a comeback story, a tale of redemption, a complete and total reinvention of a legacy that once basically was the internet.
Yeah, to really get Edge, you have to remember its ancestor, Internet Explorer. Launched all the way back in 1995, IE was an absolute titan. For millions of Windows users, it was the only way to get online. But as the web grew up and got more complex, IE just fell behind. And Microsoft knew they had to do something radical.
So how did they pull it off? How did they stage this incredible comeback? Well, they adopted the secret weapon of their biggest rival. And that brings us to this key term, the Chromium engine. Think of it as the powerful open-source heart that powers Google Chrome, the very thing that made Chrome famous for its speed and stability.
And here's the twist in the story. In a move that honestly shocked a lot of people, Microsoft decided to rebuild Edge from the ground up, using that exact same Chromium engine. It was a brilliant, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em strategy. And just like that, Edge was fast, compatible, and back in the game.
But here's the thing. They didn't just make a copy of Chrome. They took that solid Chromium foundation and built their own unique browser on top of it. They added cool features like collections for visually organizing your research and an amazing immersive reader that just gets rid of all the clutter. For all you tab hoarders out there, they added vertical tabs. They even built in an Internet Explorer mode for old websites and a password monitor to keep you safe. It's a seriously impressive package.
Okay, now let's talk about the king of the hill, the browser that forced Microsoft to make that change in the first place, Google Chrome. I mean, for a lot of people, when you say web browser, this is the one that pops into their head. And it's all built on a reputation for being fast and simple.
Let's rewind to 2008. Back then, the browser world was pretty much dominated by a fading Internet Explorer and a rising Firefox. The world was just ripe for a change, and that's when Google swooped in, promising something faster, cleaner, and more secure. And boy, did they deliver.
You know, this quote from our source material really just nails it. Chrome's success wasn't just about one thing. It was this perfect storm, a blend of raw speed, dead simple design, and a massive universe of extensions. So what was the secret sauce? Well, first, it had the V8 engine, which just made web pages and apps feel incredibly snappy. Second, it used something called sandboxing. All that means is that every tab runs on its own, so if one crashes, it doesn't bring down your entire browser. Huge. Third, the Chrome Web Store opened the floodgates to a huge ecosystem of add-ons. And finally, the killer feature. It's perfect, seamless integration with every other Google service you use.
But, not everyone wants to live inside that Google world. And that brings us to our third major contender, Mozilla Firefox. This browser has carved out a totally different path for itself. It's the mission-driven alternative, the one that's all about privacy and putting you, the user, back in control.
Firefox has some serious history. Its roots go all the way back to 2002. Born from the ashes of Netscape. Yeah, the original browser that went head-to-head with Internet Explorer. From day one, Firefox was different. It was built by a nonprofit with a focus on serving users, not corporations.
And that right there is its guiding star. While other browsers might be chasing speed or features, Firefox's entire reason for being is its commitment to your privacy, your security, and the idea of a transparent, open web where you control your own data. And that's not just marketing talk. You see it in the actual features. Its enhanced tracking protection blocks those creepy online trackers by default. You don't have to do a thing. Its interface is legendary for how much you can customize it, and because it's open source, anyone can look at the code to make sure it's secure. Oh, and it also has a fantastic reader mode. This browser is truly built on a different set of values.
Okay, so we've met our contenders. We have the reinvented legacy in Edge, the dominant champion in Chrome, and the privacy advocate in Firefox. So now, let's put them side by side and see how they really stack up.
When you look at it from a high level, the choice between them really boils down to one fundamental trade-off. Are you looking for maximum convenience and a perfect link to a huge ecosystem? That's Chrome's promise. Or do you value privacy above all else and want total control over your online experience? That is Firefox's entire mission. Edge, meanwhile, is trying to find that perfect sweet spot right in the middle.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty, feature by feature. When it comes to performance, honestly, they're all incredibly fast now. Chrome has its V8 engine, Firefox has its Quantum engine, and Edge gets all the speed of Chromium. Now, on privacy, this is where you see the real difference. Firefox is the clear leader with its default protections. Edge has surprisingly strong privacy controls too. Chrome is secure for sure, but there are always questions about Google's data collection. And for extensions, Chrome has the biggest library, hands down, but since Edge is built on Chromium, it can use almost all of them too, while Firefox has its own fantastic collection.
So, after all that, how on earth you choose your personal gateway to the internet? Okay, let's break it down into one final super simple takeaway.
Look, after everything we've talked about, here's the bottom line. There is no single best browser. It's a myth. The best browser in the world is the one that's best for you. It's not about which one wins on a spec sheet. It's about which one fits how you live your digital life. So let's make this really simple. If you live and breathe in Windows and want that perfect integration, or maybe you need access to older, legacy websites for work, Microsoft Edge is an absolutely brilliant choice. If you are all in on the Google ecosystem, Gmail, Drive, you name it, and you crave top speed and that massive extension library, then Google Chrome is still the one to beat. But if your number one priority is privacy, if you believe in open source, and you love to tinker and customize every little thing, then Mozilla Firefox was practically made for you.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. The first browser war was fought over features. The second was a battle over speed and standards. But as we look ahead, with privacy becoming more important every day and artificial intelligence being built into everything, what's the next browser war going to be fought over? That's something to chew on the next time you open up your gateway to the web.